Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ennio, and today I'm going to talk about teams and teamwork. Basically, team is a collection of people who who come together to pursue their common goals. Teamwork is the process of people actively working together to accomplish their goals or their desires. And the pros and cons about this are when teams they have the ideas. But the cons are also when somebody, which is called social loafing, basically lacks the idea of the group and doesn't get what they're going to do. And so that brings me up to the 5 stages of team development. Stage number 1, which is forming, is basically when the individual asks himself, what can I get out of this group? What can they what can I contribute to this group? And stage number 2 is when is basically when everybody is disagreeing. So when a large group of people have ideas, but they're all different, and they're all trying to get in. They're all trying to say their opinion, but the other person is disagreeing. And so that takes me to stage number 3, norming, which is basically cooperation. When basically they start to understand themselves, the idea, and they try to get along. And so stage number 4, which is performing, is basically when everybody is more mature and much more, they understand each other, and they try to they all try to get the idea of how they're gonna finish their common goal. And so by that I mean I'm going to go towards to how teams make decisions. Well, it's based on when everyone has an idea and they all agree at that one idea. So let's take Apple for example. Apple, when iPhone 4 came out, they all came together and they thought of ideas about iPhone 4S, how they can make it better, how they can make the screen larger or whatever, how can they improve the phone. And basically when iPhone 4 came out, they basically came in and also thought of ideas for the iPhone 5. And they're going to keep doing it for the iPad 3, for the iPad 4, 5, iPhone 3, sorry, not iPhone 3, iPhone 6. They're basically going to come together and think about ideas on how to improve the phone, how to make it better. And so Globe and Mail says that managers have to be able to let the teams think about ideas. And because if they do that, then they're all going to figure out the best idea. And when they're done, they're going to go up to their head manager and they're going to tell them what their idea is and how it's going to work out to the consumers and stuff like that, and to their shareholders and stuff like that, whatever. And basically, yeah, and so I'm going to be telling you guys a little story that it was a very long time ago, but it was about when I was about maybe 10 or 9. I don't really remember that much. But it was basically when I was in house league. And so my team, we were first place in the standings during the season, and we were technically undefeated. And so we came in that game, in our quarterfinal game, thinking that as a unit we can do this. We need to come up with ideas on how we are going to dominate our opponents. And so we came to that game and we worked like our butt off to try and figure out to win that game, because we all knew it was our last year together, and we had to basically get to the semifinals or the final. And what happened was, during the semifinal, when we were down by 5 goals, I think. And so our coach, he basically came here and he basically gathered all of us, and then he said that we all need to work as a unit to accomplish our goal. And our goal was to make the final. And what happened was, of course, we were down 5-0, and it was halftime. So we came out there with a lot of spirit, with whatever, and we came out there and we played our game. We had the best game ever. We came out there and we showed them what a true team is. And like it's one of those days where you feel like you could do a lot. Like, and basically what I'm trying to say is teamwork is when it's not about like how badly you play. You just have to think of ideas on how to work together as a unit to accomplish your goal, to finish your goal, to be able to show people that you can do something. And so basically for us, we made the final, and what happened was in the final, again we were down like 4-0. And this same time, our coach said that we had to, this time, we also had to work as a team, but we also had to think about why we were losing and why we were down by 4 goals and what was wrong with us. And we just came there as a unit. And a player on my team said that if we don't, everybody contribute if everybody doesn't come in here and contribute, then none of us will go up. We'll basically be called like a champion or be a winner or stuff like that. And so on that day, unfortunately, we lost. But it basically goes to show you that whatever happens, in whatever situation you are, you have to be able to, as a team, you have to be able to come back and just overcome your situation. Because I know, like, coming from business, that the company, I forgot their name, was RIM, I think. And they basically, their idea was to basically go after Apple and try and beat them. But eventually their ideas kind of sank out because Apple eventually sold out like sold out their products more, and then they basically had more advantage, and then RIM fell apart. And so Apple right now still remains the dominant company in the world, and it's because they have they've come in and they've thought of ideas, and then they've gone through this process. Like every year, when they get together, they basically think of how are we going to make our products better? What are we going to create? Recently, they signed out. They came out with the iPod, which basically when 2007, it was basically the iPod which basically was kind of looked like an iPhone, but a bit smaller and like thinner, whatever. And the iPod right now is like the legitimate iPod that we had, but it's better. And I think that every year, Apple has found a way to basically come in, make their products better, think about goals on how to make the customer, how to make the customer satisfied, and also how to basically they come in to think about the customer, and they say to themselves, how can we prove our ideas? How can we make the customer feel like they're amazing? And they've somehow managed it. And so, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, teams and teamwork aren't really about how badly the project goes. It's basically how teams can come together as a unit and think about their ideas, disagree one another. It's okay to disagree with one another, because then they can truly say that, yeah, I disagree with your idea there, sir, but I can say that for my idea is better, and eventually they're all going to come together as a unit and basically work on that idea. And yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will finish up this episode of KKK, and tune in next time for another episode. So long and good night.